I made it. I made it. I was busy doing something else and I thought, oh my God, I got to get moving here. I have to get moving. It is time for the live. Sorry if I'm late, everyone. Anyways, I'm Linda G. Robert. You're back in the groove again, coach. Thank you for joining me today on today's live. It's Monday. I know we normally have it on Friday, but I thought today we could start the week off with this topic. I'm glad you're here. Whether you're watching me live or maybe you're catching the replay later, thank you for being here. Thank you for being here. And so we're talking about something that I don't believe that we do enough of. Over the last few weeks, we've been talking about humor, laughter yoga. We've been talking about being mindful. And so this is the last session for this theme. So we're going to be continuing on that theme today as well. But we're also going to add gratitude to the mix. So gratitude and laughter to shift our mindset. Honestly, life can be really messy. It can be frustrating. It can feel sometimes overwhelming. Sometimes it can feel exhausting. And sometimes it could feel downright ridiculous. And when we get stuck in those hard moments, it's really, really easy to kind of feel like our shoulders are being weighed down. We're carrying the weight of the world on our shoulders. Sometimes it can feel that way. Thank God it doesn't feel that way very often for me. But here's the thing. We can lighten up that load, right? Not by pretending that everything's perfect, because everything's not perfect, but by choosing, keyword choosing, to find something to be grateful for in that moment. And when we can, to find a little humor in that mess, because we can find humor in any situation, believe me. Now, I want to share a story now. I have a public weekly newsletter, and I'll encourage you to go to my website, lindagrobert.com, scroll to the bottom of my page there and sign up for my newsletter. So every month I have a different theme. And of course, in the newsletter, I also have a different topic related to that theme. And I want to share a story from one of my subscribers, Monique. Now, I'm going to be reading exactly the way that she sent it to me because it's too good not to share. So this is what Monique wrote, okay? She said, if I didn't laugh at myself or my circumstances, I wouldn't be here today. I've got to be the, in capital letters, she said, biggest klutz, or if something bad will happen, it will, in capital letters, happen to me. I've learned to find humor because it's my way to cope. Just last week, I had 3 different things happen, and I said to my husband, Mike, it must be close to a full moon. My little 16-year-old dog had peed on our hardwood floor. It was 1 a.m. and I was wearing Crocs. Sure enough, I slid right in it and down I went. I landed on the pee pad and was sitting right in the pee. Mike heard the loud thump. I screamed his name and he came running. There I was sitting in pee with badly bruised shoulder, blood coming from my elbow and knees. Thought I might have cracked a rib, she said. When Mike got to me, I was laughing. I was hurt, but laughing. It was even funnier as he tried to lift me up. So listen to this part. She says, my foot kept sliding on the wet floor. Remember, there's pee on the floor. I was covered in pee. My prosthetic leg had flown off, and was a few feet away. I don't know if you can imagine what I'm sharing with you here. With a few feet away, he finally got me up, but we were both laughing at my predicament. The next day, I was at dialysis and I kept smelling pee. I had taken a shower after my fall and also changed my clothes. Where was that smell coming from? I figured out that it was my prosthesis sheath. I guess when my leg flew off, I was left wearing the silicone sheath over my stump. I had been laying in pee, so the sheath got dirty. Even my nurse could smell it, but we couldn't figure out where that smell was coming from. We had a good laugh once I figured out that it was coming from my prosthetic sheath. I have to laugh because if I take things too seriously, I'll never make it through my many rough moments. Now, if you're following along and you can imagine what Monique was going through, like when you think about it, unbelievable, right? Unbelievable. And I'm just going to open up the chat to see if we got anyone chatting here. Okay, I've got one person watching. Hello, hello. How are you doing today? I hope you were able to hear the story of what Monique shared with me. If not, you'll have to catch the replay because it is an incredible story. You would think that she would get so upset and so frustrated, but no, she was literally sitting in pee, hurt and bruised, but still managed to laugh about it. And that, my friend, is what resilience looks like, right? Now, let's be honest. When you're in the middle of a rough patch, it's not always easy to flip that switch and to feel grateful or to laugh. I know I have a difficult time laughing right away. I usually have to kind of just take a moment to breathe. And then later on, I will laugh about it. I might not laugh about it at that time. Most of us don't think of it. Oh, I should be thankful right now. No, we don't think about it at the time, right? When we've just slipped in pee or had our fifth crappy day in a row, we probably won't think about it in that moment. So let's talk about a few very simple ways that you can start bringing a little bit more gratitude and a little bit more laughter in your day, especially when you don't really feel like it. Oh, thank you. You forgot I was live. Well, guess what? I am live. And good morning. Good morning to you as well. I was actually late for the live today. I was about a few minutes late for the live today. So yeah, you'll have to listen to the replay to listen to the story that I shared. In fact, I wrote it in my newsletter. So if you get my newsletter, you probably read Monique's story. I think I did it last week. I shared it last week. Okay, I'm just moving my notes back here. All right, so let's keep going. So first of all, you need to create a gratitude cue. What is that? Well, pick something that you see or do often, like your morning coffee or a stop sign or every time you wash your hands. These are just examples, right? And make a deal with yourself that every time you see that thing, name one thing you're grateful for. And it can be something really small. If every time I see my cup, that's going to be my cue to think of something I'm grateful for. So for example, I'm really grateful for my cup of coffee. I'm grateful that the sun came up. I'm grateful that my socks match. Actually, I'm not even wearing socks today. It's about building a habit in tiny, doable moments. So the idea is to choose something that when you see that thing, it reminds you of saying something that you're grateful for. All right. I hope that makes sense to you. Now, another thing you could do is to collect a funny things and to start a laugh file. Now, this could be a folder on your phone or a sticky note on your fridge, doesn't matter. Whenever something makes you chuckle, a meme, a silly memory, a ridiculous text from a friend, save it. Then when life feels heavy, go to that file and let yourself laugh, even if it's just a few seconds. I know that my son shared something. He called me yesterday and he told me something that was like really funny. And I didn't think it was funny initially, but I laughed about it. So he told me that he said, "You know how I love potatoes?" I said, "Yeah, I know you love potatoes." He loves potatoes. He said, "Well, I went to, oh, thanks. Gracias. Thank you. Good morning to you as well." So my son told me that he went to the grocery store and bought himself a potato peeler, and it cost him $8 for the potato peeler. That's a lot for a potato peeler. Anyways, this is what he told me. He said he went home, used a potato peeler, and guess what he did after that? Guess what he did after that? And this is what I thought was kind of funny. Guess what he did after that? He used a potato peeler, paid $8 for the potato peeler, used a potato peeler, and then did what? What do you think he did? I'm just waiting for a few comments. What do you think he did with the potato peeler afterwards? Anybody have any ideas? Have any ideas? I'll share what he did. He brought it back to the grocery store. Oh my God, I laughed. He brought the potato peeler back to the grocery store, and I'm thinking, oh my God. And I asked him, "Did you at least wash it? Like, who brings a potato?" But you know what? At the end of the day, some people actually do that. They will buy a dress. I've heard that before. I've never done that personally, but they will buy. Yes, he cleaned it, of course. And I asked him that. I said, "Did you at least clean it?" He said, "Of course I did. Of course I did." But he brought the potato peeler back to the grocery store, and of course, then found one at a flea market or something like that for a couple of dollars. And I laughed. I was on the phone laughing with him just because I thought it was a hilarious story. I'm thinking, oh my goodness, wow, that's too funny. He returned it. He returned it because it was too expensive, and he found one that was like cheaper, $1 or $2. When you go to a flea market or a garage sale and you find something that's just $1, that's what happened. He returned it. And he didn't even have his receipt. I know. And I asked him because when my son was here the last time, this was a few weeks ago, I know he loves potatoes, and we didn't have a potato peeler because I don't eat a lot of potatoes. Okay, bottom line, I don't eat a lot of potatoes. But because I knew he wanted to mash his potatoes, I did go to Dollarama. I went to Dollarama. I picked up a potato peeler. So I asked him if he wanted that potato peeler. He says, "No, I picked one up already." He picked one up, not at Dollarama, but at one of these flea markets or something. So when I think of that story, I laugh. And another thing, I'm just thinking about that out loud now. When he was younger, he said to me, "What time does finner dinish?" I will never forget that. What time does finner dinish? Now, I haven't written that one down. I didn't put it in any pot. It's just that when I think about some of the things that he said to me or things that he's done, I have 2 kids. One of them is a little bit more funnier than the other one. So I'm thinking of my youngest one at this point. When I think of that, it makes me laugh. It makes me smile, at least. It makes me really smile. So, these kind of things we have to remember. Is these kind of things that make us smile or make us laugh or what gets us through, the difficult times. Another thing too, you want to say things out loud. So when something absurd happens, call it out. literally, well, this is ridiculous. Or you can't make this stuff up. You just can't make this stuff up, for example, right? Say it out loud. It seems to lighten up the mood instantly, and of course gives your brain permission to not take life so seriously. Really, this happened? I'm giving that as an example. Another thing is to have a go-to funny person or show, right? You know, the one that maybe you have a friend that makes you laugh every time you chat with her, or that shows you that, you can count on her for a really good giggle. So you might call on her because you know that she's going to make you laugh, right? Make it a point to reach out to a person that makes you laugh, or to watch something silly when things get tough. It's not avoiding life really, but it's giving yourself a break. Because if we kept thinking of that negative thing or that sad thing or that depressing thing, there's nothing wrong with thinking of those things, by the way. But if we keep thinking about that, it is going to continue to release those hormones that that brings on that sad feeling. But we could change that, right? A couple of weeks ago, we did some laughing. We could change that, and we can release those feel good hormones instead and make us feel a little bit better. In fact, when you smile to yourself, even smiling, let's try that. Oh, Kim Mitchell. Wait, what? What? No way. When is that? When is Heritage Day? Is that in August? The August long weekend? Oh my goodness. How did you hear about that and I didn't know about that? Oh, I love King Mitchell. Da 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 da. No, I can't remember how the song goes now, but you know what song I'm talking about. I can't remember how it goes, but you know which one I'm talking about, right? Oh, I wish I could remember how it went now, but I only see, okay, you can buy tickets in June. Okay, I didn't know that. Interesting. Thank you for telling me. I love Kim Mitchell. I might just go too. I love King Mitchell. He must be getting pretty old like the rest of us, right? Anyways, that's a different story. Different story. We won't talk about that right now. So, what was I saying? Yeah, we were talking about gratitude. We were talking about laughter, how we can use gratitude to change our space, to change our mood, laughter to change our mood. And I want to try something really quick. I'm going to, just for a second here, I'm going to smile. Patio lanterns, that's the one. That's the one. Thank you. That's the one. That's the one. Yes, thank you. I want to try an experiment. We're going to just smile for a few seconds. Oh, well, yeah, I didn't know that. I didn't know he had a heart issue. All right, just for a few seconds, I want you to smile. That's all, just smile. And while you're smiling, I want you to just notice what's happening around your mouth and what is happening in your body. Now, we're only going to do it for a few seconds, but I'd like you to try this later on, to try it just for, a minute. And you can make your smile as big as possible. Notice what's happening. When I'm doing that, I'm noticing that around my mouth, there's something happening around my mouth. And I'm noticing something inside my body too. So oh, absolutely. You are right there. Oh, hi, Faye. Oh, hi, Faye. You are right. You are right, darling. We are not getting older. We are getting wiser, a lot wiser, that's for sure. So try, thank you, Faye. It does. It feels like sunshine. So Try that. I know right now we're not going to extend our smile, experiment for that long, but I want you to try it. Try it when you're not feeling so good, when you're feeling a little bit sad. Try that little experiment. Last week we experimented with laughter. Today I just want you to consider even smiling. That's all. Just try smiling. One other thing is to practice, and I've talked about this before, practice gratitude before you go to bed, even on the worst days. Challenge yourself to name one or more than one thing, 1 to 3 things, 1 to 4 things that have been good that day. Oop, I'm not gonna answer that. We'll have to, sorry about that, guys. That was my insurance company, and I think I do need to call them back, but not right now. I'll call them back afterwards. So challenge yourself to think of something that happened today that was a good thing today. For example, I had some really interesting conversations with my students today, really interesting conversations. And that makes me smile. It does really make me smile. So think about that at the end of the day. Think about what was good that happened today. And I'll bet you'll be able to come up with, a lot of different things. All right, so gratitude isn't about being fake positive. It's about finding one thing to be thankful for, no matter how small it is. And it could be just a little tiny thing. And remember, finding gratitude is a muscle. So the more you practice finding gratitude, the more you find humor in little things, the easier that it gets, right? So that's about it for today. Before I wrap up, I'd love to hear from you. If you've had a moment where laughter or gratitude got you through a rough patch, I'd like to hear about it. You could write it in the comments section. If you go back to the replay, you might want to think about those things. Sometimes we don't think of things off the top of our heads. So go back and listen to, because I did share a really interesting story about what Monique shared with me on my newsletter. So write down something that was positive that happened to you. And before I go, I just want to give you a quick heads up. Kathy from Spoiled Rotten Belleville and I are actually doing a weekend mini retreat for moms and daughters at the end of June. It's so June 27th, Friday night, starts at 7 to Sunday. We finish around 1 o'clock. It's going to be a really cool time to relax, to reconnect, and to recharge. We'll be doing some crafts. Of course, we'll be doing some meditations. We'll be doing a little bit of massage. We'll be doing some talking, because it's all about connecting to either your daughter or connecting with your grandmother again. And of course, if you want more information, go to my website, lindagirobert.com/retreat. That's all I wanted to share today. And I'm just going to see if anybody wrote anything else. Okay, really? Heritage Day is at the end of June? So June 27th weekend? Oh, because I always thought Heritage Day was in August. All right, well, thanks for letting me know. So I'm marketing that retreat right now, and maybe I'll go to the Heritage. It depends on how many people sign up for that retreat. If I have the right number of people, I guess I won't see Patio Lanterns guy, Kim Mitchell. Too bad. We'll see how it goes. Anyways, I would love to hear your stories. Oops, let me hide that again. I'd love to hear your stories of when gratitude lightened up the mood, or when laughter lightened up the mood. Write it in the comments section in the on the YouTube comments section there. All right. Thanks for being here. I'm not sure when my next live will be. Is it going to be this week? I'm not sure. Oh, I'm doing a live. Yes, come to think of it. Let me write that. I'm looking at my second screen here. On Friday, I've got a guest. Dr. Mohiba and I will be talking about creating joy with small daily habits. It is going to be on, yes, and I will do that as well. So let me just share my screen just a second. So Dr. Mohiba and I are doing a live on Friday at 11:15. We're going to talk about creating joy. She's a wonderful person, very smart, very wise. Speaking of being wise. And let me just share my screen just a second. So I'm supposed to be sharing here. I hope you can see that. Let me make that bigger. Okay, so number one, if you want to sign up for my newsletter, you go to the bottom. This is my website, lindagrobert.com, and I'll show you the retreat one in a second. And if you scroll down to the bottom is where you can sign up for my newsletter right there. And information about the retreat is on lindagrobert.com/retreat. That's information about the retreat right there. Oh, and that's my friend Kathy. She owns that bed and breakfast, Spoiled Rotten Belleville. She and I met actually in Ottawa years ago. She had a bed and breakfast over there in Ottawa. And I did a lot of seminars at her place, a lot of meditation and journaling seminars at her place. But now we live hours away, many, many kilometers away. And I thought it would be fun to not just reconnect with her, but offer a mini weekend retreat at her place as well. That's what we've been working on. All right. That's it for today. Thank you again. Thanks again for being here. À la prochaine. See you Friday, right? We'll see you Friday for the live with Dr. Mohiba.